Oh my God. Hi. Welcome back, gays. Oh, and ghouls. Oh, and everyone in between. We are absolutely living for your costumes this year.
Tens across the board.
Snaps. Well, welcome back to our humble abode. Come in. As you can hear, this time it isn't just around the fireplace.
Yes. Welcome to the official Horror Bandwagon Halloween Spooktacular.
But also our fourth installment of our Scary Story Time series. Oh, babe, come get us some drinks. Oh, hey, listener, what do you want? We got tequila, vodka, let's see, some leftover Puerto Rican rum, possibly some canned rosé, because I personally can't live without canned rosé. It's just like the best. If you haven't had it, you have to.
And we also have some clams.
Confused? Are you confused? Because I know I am, because I don't know why he calls them clams.
They're White Claws.
They're White Claws, yes.
Oh my gosh, wait, it's time for the bouncy castle.
Oh my God, yes. Oh, we forgot to tell you guys. Okay, so for the smokers, we have a pavilion in the back, but you can also definitely hop on the bouncy castle. We tried our best to kind of replicate Dracula's castle, but you know how we do. We got to get all halloweenie up in here. Oh my God, did you hear that? Okay, wait, babe, quick.
Was that the clock?
Get us the drinks.
All right, I'm on my way.
Okay, so that sound means that it is time for our scary story time. Okay, everybody, gather around, put it down. Leslie, put it down. No more. Okay, cool, awesome. So it is time for a scary story. And this one is being told by your host with the most, Cody.
It is? I mean, yeah, it is.
Well, listeners, you have your drinks. Go ahead and take your seat because our story time starts right now.
This story is called Drunk Ride by our fellow listener, Cam. You should stop, Max, I told my friend. I was worried about him, even if I was slightly tipsy myself. Nah, he retorted, droning on as he took his seventh shot of the night. That's it. I grabbed him by the arm and dragged him outside. What the fuck is your problem, man? You need to go home. I'm going back inside. We're going home. Just one more, please, he whined, but I had already called the Uber. You're going home. But Ben! I tuned him out and kept a lookout for a car that matched the description. Not 3 minutes later, a black 2006 Honda Ridgeline pulled up, matching the description perfectly. The driver rolled down one of his tinted windows, telling us to get in. Despite Max's protests, we got in. We had sat in awkward silence for a while by this point. I pull out my phone to get my mind off the uncomfortable situation. No, this can't be happening. I tilt my phone so Max can see it. Once his drunk ass actually read the screen, he blacks out, but not before leaning over and slurring, "Told you not to get in." He even had the audacity to smirk. Now, with my best friend passed out on my lap, I asked the driver to drop us off. He stays silent. I ask again. Nothing. I start to dial 911 when I hear a click. What was that? I said, what was that? All I can see are his eyes staring me down in the rearview mirror. The message is clear. Don't do or say anything. I looked down, and the driver only has one hand on the wheel. The other, pointing a gun directly at my passed-out friend's head. I set my phone down and pressed call. My biggest mistake of the night was keeping silent mode off. As it rings, a gunshot echoes in my skull. Something sticky stains my left hand and my pants, but I don't have time to register what it is. I jump for the gun as the dispatcher picks up.
Hello, 911. What is your emergency?
He swerves and I fly into the door, cracking the window.
Hello, are you there?
I barely hear the lady on the other end of the phone. Speaking of which, I don't know where mine's gone.
Excuse me, it's a crime to prank call the police. Goodbye.
Shit. I momentarily forgot how to respond and I hear the line go dead. The gunshot shakes me out of my thoughts. Suddenly, there's a sharp pain in my right hip. My hands instinctively cover my hip as I double over, crying out in pain. Another bullet is shot, just scraping my shoulder, going past me and through the window behind me. The glass shatters, going everywhere. I realized through my tipsy haze that we were still going down the highway. But now blue and red lights flood the Honda. All I can hear is the blood rushing in my ears along with faint ringing. I think I hear another bullet get shot, and my suspicions are confirmed as my chest suddenly gets punctured with a bullet. My knees drop to the ground, quickly followed by my head. The last thing I see before my world goes black is the bright screen of my phone displaying the messages. Hey, it's your Uber. I'm outside.
Oh my god. Did you guys see Frankenstein over there totally spill that drink on Joe Exotic? I mean, don't get me wrong, he totally deserved it.
Oh yeah, who goes as Joe Exotic?
Exactly. Also, you just can't go around wearing a mustache cut like that.
Not at a gay Halloween party.
Oh, so many facts. Oh man, that was a great and spooky story. I loved it. Great job, Cody. And thank you, Cam, for sending that story.
Wait, babe.
Yeah?
Do you see that group of people outside? Are they heading towards the house?
I'll go to the window. Hold up, listener. Let me go check this out, because sometimes Cody, I don't know.
No, seriously. There's a bunch of random people just walking towards the house. I can't see their faces or anything, but they seem to be walking really slowly like it's the zombie apocalypse or something. Ugh, if only it wasn't so dark and foggy and spooky outside and our house wasn't in the middle of nowhere with no cell service.
I'm sure they're just trying to crash this party. Oh, okay. You know what that means? It's time for another story. So let's sit by the window because Cody, no shade, is freaking out. We will stand by the window and keep watch.
I think that I am justified here.
Regardless, we're going to go ahead and tell a scary story. Are you ready?
As ready as I can be with a group of people coming towards the house.
This story is called The Handprint by Anonymous. This happened at my friend's house a couple of years ago. It was the first time she'd thrown a big party like this for Halloween. A couple of my friends and I ended up spending the night there because no one was in any shape or mood to drive home at 2 a.m. We crashed in our living room. The house was small and it only had one floor. The living room is to the right of the front door, lots of windows, and a big pond out in the front. Everything else is in an empty field. Adjacent to the living room was the dining room and the kitchen. To the left of it, you've got your classic creepy hallway, complete with an old dusty mirror at the end of it. There are about 7 of us total sitting in the living room when all of a sudden, my friend stopped, claiming she heard a noise. So she and another one of the guests went down the hall to have a look as the rest of us continued to doze off. That was until they came running out, shutting the curtains and turning off as many lights as they could. They urged us to do the same. We shut all the curtains and turned off every light in the house save for a couple of flashlights. That's when our lovely hostess started handing out steak and butcher knives for protection. At this point, the rest of us just wanted to understand just what the fuck got them so upset. Apparently, they've gotten halfway down the hallway when one of them noticed a movement in the corner of her eye. She looked into the office, the first door on the right, which faced the front of the house. There was a handprint on the window. This would only seem a little odd, but the handprint was on the outside of the window and had never been there before. Mind you, this was a really small house. We were partying all over the place. Someone had to have been outside in the last 10 or 20 minutes to make it. The only other problem was that the window in question was elevated 2 meters off from the ground. As far as I'm concerned, no one at the party was 2.5 meters tall. By now, all of us were thoroughly freaked out about the fresh handprint, except for me. Me, being oddly disinterested in freaky shit, went outside to see the handprint. That's when I realized how tall you actually had to be to make a handprint at the top of the window like that. I figured no one else had noticed it yet. Besides, scaring people who are holding steak knives is a stupid idea. I went back in to check on everyone. I decided to calm everyone down and try to convince them that some guy got proper plastered and just hopped up to slap the window like that. Since no one had considered the height of the window, they believed me all the way to the next morning. When everyone went to sleep at night, I didn't. I ended up staying up because I knew the one thing that I hadn't told everybody. I knew the truth, and I figured I should be awake in case there was a break-in. I had to use the bathroom earlier that night, and I found a similar handprint on the bathroom window, which happened to be at least half a meter higher than the one the others had found. And when I walked outside, I realized that half the windows on the front of the house had handprints. But to this day, I think I'm the only one who has ever discovered that. Oh my God. Okay. Hey, listener, help me move this chair to the door. I think blocking the door will help. Jesus. Oh God, they're right in front of the house. Why can't I see their faces?
Oh my gosh, listener, come with me. We're going to go to the kitchen. Boy, that story was scary. What a night to throw a party, am I right? Oh my God. Time for another story. Okay, I think if we stay in the kitchen, we're going to be fine from those faceless things. And we can do this. Oh my God.
Oh my God. Hey, guys, you okay?
Yes. No, we're fine.
Okay, I have a few flashlights here. Okay, here's one for you, Cody, and here's one for you, listener, okay? Mm-hmm. Okay, so we're going to go downstairs into the basement and try to get the power back on. In the meantime, go ahead and listen to this story while we attempt to go into the really dark, spooky basement and try to turn these lights back on.
Whatever you do, don't say you'll be right back.
I'll be back in a moment.
No, don't say that. Everyone knows you don't say that. And now an excerpt from The Hospital of Horror by Patrick O'Connor. The following story is definitely, most certainly, not inspired by true events. Explore the abandoned hospital, Jordan said. It'll be fun, said George. I'm surprised Henry went along with this. He pisses himself just walking out of his parents' basement if the light's off. Jessica grumbled as she walked down the dark hallway. Nobody said anything about monsters. I am so going to kill all three of them when I get the chance. Jessica paused and sighed. Well, if the monster doesn't kill them first. As Jessica turned a corner, she saw a nurse walking in the opposite direction. Stepping out from the corner, Jessica cleared her throat to get the woman's attention. Excuse me? Jessica called. The woman kept walking. Excuse me? Jessica called louder. The woman looked up and smiled. Oh, sorry. I can get lost in the charts sometimes. The woman chuckled as she turned to walk to join Jessica. How can I help you? Actually, I'm looking for my friends. We seem to have gotten separated somehow. Is there any way you could help me find them? The woman's smile grew. Of course. I'm Dr. Gilboa. Can you give me a little information on them? Jessica hesitated. Well, they're three boys about my age. One is tall, about 6 feet, brunette, annoyingly confident. The second is slightly shorter, dirty blonde, always spouting random pop culture references. The third is about 5'5" and is best described as looking like a scared puppy. Oh, I know just who you're talking about. Follow me. They're actually waiting for you. The doctor said as she turned around and started heading back the way she came. Really? Jessica said, surprised. All three of them? Dr. Gilboa laughed. Oh, yes. They have been quite patiently waiting for you. Jessica followed Dr. Gilboa down the hall and turned the corner to the left. Here they are, Dr. Gilboa announced happily, pointing through the window they were standing in front of. Right where I left them. Wait, I'm confused, Jessica said when she looked through the window. These aren't my friends. She turned to look back at the doctor. And you're gone. Where the hell did you go? Jessica looked in every direction, but there was no sign of Dr. Gilboa. Nope, still no such thing as ghosts, Jessica said as she turned back towards the window. She must be trying to mess with me. Probably ran into Jordan. Looking through the window, Jessica took a closer look at the babies on the other side and the names on the cribs holding them. Jordan, George, and Henry. Funny. I wonder how long it took for the guys to set this one up. Jessica shook her head and started to walk away. Just as she passed, she heard the click of a latch as the door to the room creaked open. "Guys?" Jessica asked as she opened the door a little more. When there was still no response, she shifted to be able to see into the room. "What is happening?" Jessica whispered. Instead of the nursery, Jessica only saw a single light bulb hanging from the ceiling over an otherwise empty room. "You just had to go down the hallway and be Miss Monster Hunter, didn't you?" Jordan's voice came from the darkness across the room. "Jordan?" Jessica asked as she stepped into the room. "What's happening? Where have you been?" Jessica took another step. "I was right behind you. I tried to warn you. The lights told me something was going to happen." Confusion crossed Jessica's face. "The lights?" "I promise you, nothing was happening with the lights. Even George agreed." "I tried to warn you. And what happens? The party got split up," Jordan continued softly, ignoring Jessica's reply. "Jordan, what's going on? Why are you just standing there in the darkness? Is this some sick joke to try to scare me?" A slight tremble crept into Jessica's voice. Something about how Jordan was speaking didn't sit well with her. "You don't believe in ghosts, right, Jessica?" The question didn't surprise her. "We've been over this. No matter how many pranks you planned here, no, I don't believe in ghosts," she replied, realizing even she could hear the hesitation in her reply. "Why are you staying in the dark? Come over here." "If you don't believe in ghosts, then how do you explain me?" Jordan's voice drifted out of the darkness as he slowly stepped into the light. As Jordan became visible, the door to the nursery slammed shut behind Jessica. "No!" Jessica gasped at the sight. "What happened to you?" Jessica fumbled for the keys, but they weren't there.
"What does it look like, Jessica?" Jordan began. "That thing that took Henry found me and gave me these wounds. 3 deep cuts straight down my chest and stomach," Jordan said, pointing to the tears in his shirt. "Oh, and you can bet that they hurt," he continued, lightly touching the wounds. "Don't worry, it didn't hurt for long. I went into shock almost immediately." Jordan looked up and stared into Jessica's eyes. The lifelessness coming from Jordan made Jessica shudder. "Where?" Jessica asked. "Of all places, right outside the chapel." "Don't worry, the irony isn't lost on me," Jordan shrugged. "Wait, how is this my fault?" Jessica snapped, a sudden rush of anger filling her with energy. Jordan's head tilted slightly. "All we had to do was turn left." "But no, you insisted on straight. When the lights came back on, I found myself alone. I turned back thinking that George probably ran back to the morgue. He was always predictable like that, always going back to the places he knew instead of exploring more, even in the games." Jordan started walking towards Jessica. "You, I assumed, kept going. You can handle yourself better than George can take care of himself. That's what you always want people to believe, right? That you're totally in control?" Jordan's voice rose as Jessica backed against the door and tried to wiggle the door handle. The door was locked. "I don't know what to tell you. What do you want me to say?" Jessica started to tear up. "I don't want you to say anything. Words won't bring me back to life. I just wanted to make sure you knew that it's your fault that we're dead," Jordan said, stopping a few feet away from Jessica. "We?" Jessica asked, the question getting caught in her throat. "Oh, yeah. It got me too." George's voice came out of the darkness to Jessica's left. "Bit more gruesome than Jordan, though, disfigured and all," George said as he stepped into the light, his head bent and twisted at the neck. Jessica gasped as she started stepping backwards to keep distance between them. "Bent leg, even my arms are a bit funny. Guess it's fitting since I always thought it would be cool to be a zombie on The Walking Dead. Now at least I look like one," George said, reviewing his injuries. "How?" Jessica whispered. "Well," George started, looking back at Jessica, his right foot noticeably bent and dragging up behind him while he walked. "When the lights came back on, I heard a snarling, so I ran. Like Jordan, I tried to get back to the morgue. At least I knew the area and figured I could try to maybe hide in one of the cadaver drawers." Jordan looked from Jessica to George. Well, not the one that the knocking was coming from. Give me some credit. George cried before returning his attention to Jessica as tears started pouring down her cheeks. It sounded like the creature was getting closer, faster, so I made a rookie mistake and hit the elevator button. The bell dinged, the doors opened, and like a dumbass, I looked behind me to see if I would be safe and fell. The elevator wasn't there. Horror 101. If you're going to use an elevator to escape, always check to see if the elevator is there. George shook his head in disgrace. Guess I'm not as good as I thought I would be after years of watching this stuff. Looking up again, George caught Jessica's eyes. Still, can't deny that it would have ended differently if you hadn't been so stubborn and demanded we follow the monster's growl. Don't forget about me, Henry's voice came from between George and Jordan. You even got a second chance to save me and couldn't. Jessica shook her head. I tried, she said through her tears as she backed against the nursery glass. I did everything I could. Henry stepped into the light. Yeah, but that clearly wasn't good enough. I've seen you win track meets. You couldn't get to me faster either time. I mean, look at me. The creature bit off my right arm and half of my stomach, Henry yelled. Clearly, I wasn't important enough for you to move even the slightest bit faster, Henry continued with venom in his voice. I'm so sorry, Jessica whispered as she started to sob. Sorry won't bring us back, Jessica, Jordan added. The three boys started walking towards Jessica. You could have moved faster. It's like you wanted me to die, Henry spat. No, Jessica said as she slid to the floor. All we had to do was go left. I know I'm not the leader type, but you just wanted to be a hero. Look at where that got me, George added. I'm so sorry. I didn't want this to happen, Jessica sobbed. Well, Jordan finished. Are you just going to sit there crying? Or are you going to at least give us the decency of looking at the consequences of your actions? Jordan shook her head, no, repeating the words, I'm so sorry, as she sobbed. Look at us, Jessica. Jordan continued, raising his voice until he was yelling as Jessica's heartbeat seemed to join it, pounding louder and louder. Jessica, Jessica, Jessica!
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, Jessica cried, curled into a ball with her arms over her head, tears streaming down her face. The pounding grew louder and more rapid as a crash came overhead and glass showered over her. Damn it, Jess, get up, Henry yelled as he reached in and grabbed the collar of Jessica's jacket. Henry? Jessica whispered, her voice hoarse from crying. What are you still doing on the floor? They're gone. Let's go. I thought you were dead, Jessica said as she wiped the tears from her eyes and stood. It's this place. It gets in your head and plays on your fears, Henry said as he helped Jessica over broken glass where the window used to be. Plus, don't think you're that lucky. There are plenty more years of me disappointing you to come. But you were gone. That monster got you. How did you get out? Trust me, I may be a scaredy cat, but if I've learned anything from it, fear is a great motivator, Henry said. Come on, Jordan and George are waiting for us at the exit. Henry turned and started jogging. Jessica quickly followed behind. A few minutes later, and they came up to George, standing next to Jordan, holding an exit door open with his foot. The morning light poured in, the difference making the doorway look like a portal to another dimension, rather than one that led outside. Ready? Jordan asked. More than ever, Jessica gasped. Henry pushed the door open wider and held it as the other three went through. As soon as Henry passed, Jordan followed right behind. Shoving the door swiftly behind the friends, Jordan breathed a sigh of relief as the sound of a bolt sliding into place resounded through the crisp air. Let's go, Jessica said, never looking back as the hospital grew smaller in the distance.
Hey, listener, there you are. I'm glad you're still safe. Thank God. Okay, I'm so glad you heard that scary story. Scary, right? Very creepy, very otherworldly. I love it. But guess what? We now have to figure out how to get help. These people are now trying to get fully inside. They don't tell us what they want. They're just trying to barge in. We have to try to keep everyone sane.
I tried to give them the cookies. I thought that the cookies I made were what they were looking for, but
Cookies are not going to save us right now. Oh, wait, I know how to. I know. We got to get ready for a scary story from the Book of Scares.
The Book of Scares?
Yes! Scary stories to tell in the dark. Okay, quick. Do you know where it is? Go find it, babe. Go. Quick.
I'll be right back.
Oh my God, he's leaping through the walls. He's tumbling. Why is he doing a death drop? Oh my God. It's amazing. Oh, here he's coming. Oh, thank God. Okay, you got it. Perfect.
These bitches can't hold me down.
Look. Okay, babe, calm down.
Okay, quick. We gotta choose one. Oh, hey, you, listener. You're our only hope. We can't do this without you. You gotta choose. Okay, we're gonna flip the pages. You just tell us when to stop.
Okay, ready? Go.
Stop.
Yeah? Oh.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, let's see what it picked. Oh. Okay, perfect. Let's tell it right now.
This is High Beams, from Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, collected by Alvin Schwartz. The girl driving the old blue sedan was a senior at the high school. She lived on a farm about 8 miles away and used the car to drive back and forth. She had driven into town that night to see a basketball game. Now, she was on her way home. As she pulled away from the school, she noticed a red pickup truck follow her out of the parking lot. A few minutes later, the truck was still behind her. I guess we're going in the same direction, she thought. She began to watch the truck in her mirror. When she changed her speed, the driver of the truck changed his speed. When she passed a car, so did he. Then he turned on his high beams, flooding her car with light. He left them on for almost a minute. He probably wants to pass me, she thought. But she was becoming uneasy. Usually she drove home over a back road. Not too many people went that way. But when she turned onto that road, so did the truck. I've got to get away from him, she thought, and she began to drive faster. Then he turned his high beams on again. After a minute, he turned them off. Then he turned them on again and off again. She drove even faster, but the truck driver stayed right behind her. Then he turned on his high beams again. Once more, her car was ablaze with light. What is he doing? She wondered. What does he want? Then he turned them off again. But a minute later, he had them on again, and he left them on.
At last, she pulled into her driveway, and the truck pulled in right behind her. She jumped from the car and ran to the house. "Call the police!" she screamed at her father. Out in the driveway, she could see the driver of the car. He had a gun in his hand. When the police arrived, they started to arrest him, but he pointed to the girl's car. "You don't want me," he said. "You want him." Crouched behind the driver's seat, there was a man with a knife. As the driver of the truck explained it, the man slipped into the girl's car just before she left the school. He saw it happen, but there was no way he could stop it. He thought about getting the police, but he was afraid to leave her, so he followed her car. Each time the man in the back seat reached up to overpower her, the driver of the truck turned on his high beams. Then the man dropped down, afraid that somebody might see him. Phew, okay, that was a close one. Turns out that they're just a flash mob of zombies. They're just performing the annual Halloween thriller scene.
And flash mobs are so 2016.
I am like super duper like embarrassed. Oh my God. So obviously we invited them in for some drinks and popping for apples. And the lights are back on. Yes.
Oh my God.
Thank the Lord. Phew. Okay, so the look on your faces were 100% priceless. I loved it. It was good. It was a good little fun little Halloween prank on us and the listeners. Well, guys, I think it's time to call it a wrap for tonight. we are going to go ahead and blow out the fire and go to bed. Listeners, thank you so much for joining us for our special Scary Story Time Halloween event.
Yes.
We are so happy that you stuck with us for this month. This is our first annual Scary Story Time month.
Yeah. So get home safe, practice your safe distancing.
Yes, definitely.
Wear your masks and your Halloween masks.
Absolutely. You know what? More masks, the better.
Oh, and happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween, guys. Make sure to visit us on Instagram at the Horror Bandwagon, or send us in some inquiries, some questions, some recommendations for movies that we should cover over at thehorrorbandwagon@gmail.com.
And make sure you check the back seat before you head home tonight.
Yeah, always check the back seat. Always check your windows now for handprints. Never trust ghosts. Also, make sure you check your Uber. Make sure it all matches.
For sure.
For sure.
Make them tell you your name.
And thank you for all the listener stories that were, given to us. Thank you so much for providing your high quality content. These stories were super spooky. I was so happy that you guys contributed to them. And, I'm hoping to do this maybe in a few months or maybe next year for Halloween. Maybe this might be an annual thing.
Yes.
So, again, thank you so much. We'll see you later. Drive safe.
Have a good night, everyone. Happy Halloween.
Oh, wait. Do you see that person over there?
What person over there?